y'all, Airgun Angie with Gateway to Airguns. This is part 2 of my grip review on the Gamo Swarm Viper 10X Gen 3i. Woo! What a name. This one is all about performance, guys. We've already went over part 1, aesthetics, operations, took some shots. This is all about performance. So let's find out how this bad boy performs.
Shooting time, oh it's shooting time. Get my airgun on the firing line.
Really quick, I want to say thank you to Gateway to Airguns for making this video possible. Go check them out, guys. www.gatewaytoairguns.org. www.gatewaytoairguns.org. So when I left you guys in part 1, I was taking some quick 25-yard shots just to see what we got, to show you guys how the Gamo Red Fire shot in this Gamo gun. But I wanted to find out, okay, it's a Gamo gun, but so what? Let's shoot some other pellets in it and see what else it likes to. And I did just that with a bunch of different pellets. I shot some dome top pellets and some hunting pellets, and I shot them at 25 yards. And the top three shooters, the ones that this one likes the best, are 2 from H&N. First one, H&N Field Target Trophies. The second one, the Crosman Ultra Magnums, and then the H&N Barracuda Hunter Extremes. So 2 from H&N Sport, and then a Crosman. I checked those out at 25 yards. They did beautifully. So guys, you might notice, you might not have, I did change the scope out. I had the stock Gamo scope on when I was doing the testing, but I really like these BSA Outlook scopes for the Gamo guns. They are compatible, they fit beautifully, and they're actually really nice pieces of glass. So if you're looking for something other than the stock Gamo scope, check out the BSA Outlooks. That's 3 to 9 by 40, pretty sweet optic there. Okay, now let's check it out for accuracy and distance. So not good at 35 yards. I took it back to 35, tested it there. It was okay, not great, but I want some better results. So let's move it back up to 30 and we'll see what we get there. Shooting a little right. Definitely not a bad group. Let's see which ones do the best. A little high. I will sight it in when I pick the best pellet. That's tough, but I'm gonna go with the Crosman so far. I think those ones shot better than the H&N Sport. You just have to take the other mag out before you can load another one in. All right, last one's the Barracuda Hunter Extremes from H&N Sport. That one was all me, guys. I'm gonna load another one after I shoot these 2 because I pulled that one, most definitely. So at 30 yards, yes, that was absolutely much better than 35. And you might think 5 yards, what's the big deal? but every yard does make a difference. And remember, this is just a break barrel, guys, and it's not a powerhouse. We will go over the velocity soon, and that'll explain why it's not a long distance air gun. Okay, so now one of the reasons why I wanted to test it at 30 yards, we need to pick its favorite pellet so we know what we're gonna do the rest of the testing with in this video. So the best pellets at 30 yards and 25 yards, I'm gonna say, were the Crosman Ultra Magnums. Those ones are going to be the star of the rest of this show. So let's go ahead and move on to the next test, trigger pull. Now I've pulled the trigger on this thing several times and I've got no complaints, but how much are we getting for pull weight? The first test gave me 1 pound 15.1 ounces, and the second was 2 pounds 1.6 ounces. So pretty much a 2 pound trigger, and that is nothing to complain about here. This is a break barrel. I know, I've said that a couple times already, right? So as you know, it's not a PCP, it doesn't have an air cylinder, so there's no full to empty testing going on here. So what kind of testing do I like to do? I like to shoot 20 shots and see how consistent it is with accuracy as well as velocity. So I'm going to shoot 4 5-shot groups over the chronograph as well as at a target. Okay, for shot 1 I got 650 feet per second. Then halfway through at shot 10 I got 661, and shot 20 I got 651. So that in and of itself explains why this is not a long range air gun. It's not a powerhouse, guys. Of course this is with a lead pellet. And Gamo claims that it gets 1,000 feet per second. I'm imagining that is with a very, very, very light alloy pellet. I didn't come anywhere near that with this, but that's not the max velocity I got. I've got the hobbies for that, and that's coming up soon. So with that said, that's an average of 653 feet per second, a max of 663, and a minimum of 640. It was actually extremely consistent. Check this out. Though it's not a powerhouse, it is consistent with a spread of 23 and a standard deviation of 6. That's an average of 13.5 foot-pounds of energy. So definitely a small gamer. That is pretty impressive for an inexpensive break barrel backyard plinker. That's some good consistency over 20 shots. So that was the velocity with an average lead pellet. What about an extremely light lead pellet like the RWS Hobbies? You guys know that's what I normally use for max velocity testing in 22 cal. So these are 11.9 grain, and with those in the Gamo Swarm Viper, I got 808 feet per second as a max velocity. So I didn't get near the 1,000, but it's also a lead pellet. They probably used an alloy. So those are pretty good results. Before moving on to my absolute favorite part, it's only my favorite part if I do really well, by the way. Before moving on to that, let's talk about noise. Is this backyard friendly? Like a lot of the Gamo air rifles, this one has the whisper sound suppression technology. So is it whisper quiet? Let's find out. At the muzzle, I got 81.7 and 84.7. That's pretty quiet. That's at the muzzle. That is right there. That's super quiet. I'd say it is definitely doing its job. Okay, but what about at my perspective, the shooter's perspective? I got 80.9 and 79.3. Okay, now I want to move it. I'm only going to go 15 yards. I normally go 20, but I'm at 30 yards here, so 15 is about halfway between the table and the target. And I don't want to pick up the pellet impact sound over the sound of the air gun. So 15 yards it is. Let's see what we get. So the first shot I got 77.4 dBs and the second was 79.5. Still super quiet. I'd say the whisper technology is absolutely 100% doing its job. So if you're looking for a quiet pellet gun, this might be it. All right, on to Offhand. Let's see how well we do. So this is the exact gun that I had the Gamo Squirrel Master Classic, and yes, we had success. And guys, there wasn't always time to find a tree to lean up on. So how is it as an offhand shooter? Well, I already know. Hopefully I can portray that to you in this little offhand test. I've got the Gamo Rabbit knockdown target set up down there. Got the Crosman Ultra Magnums, 14.3 grain Ultra Magnum pellets. Got my glasses. Got my Gamo Viper. Let's try to knock this rabbit down. There we go. Sweet. Dead rabbit. There we go. Got him again. All right, so last shot, guys. Well, guys, several shots that would have slowed him down. A couple of kill shots. That's the Gamo Swarm Viper 10X Gen 3i as an offhander. All right, so cons and pros, guys. Cons first, like always, we don't want to end on a bad note, right? But it's necessary. I want you guys to know as much as I can give you about these air guns. So cons, there are a couple. Depending on the type of pellet, they can be a little difficult to load into the mag. Some slide right in there, some of them you have to use a little bit of a force. So it can be kind of a pain, but it's not really that bad of a con. The next one is you're kind of limited on optics. Why? Because of the swarm mechanism can get in the way. You really need to pay attention to the length of the optic. Like I said earlier, these BSA optics, most of them absolutely fit perfectly on these Gamo Swarm air guns. So if you're looking for one other than the stock scope, check out BSA. And if you need some help, I'm sure you can contact them and ask them. Make sure you pay attention to the length of the optic before you purchase it and make sure it will fit on this gun without hitting the swarm mechanism. Those are really the only two cons that I find with this air gun. So let's go ahead and move on to pros. So this one's not a powerhouse like the Gamo Swarm Magnum or the Gamo Swarm Bone Collector. Both of those are powerhouses, but they also take a little bit more cocking effort than this one does. So it definitely has its place. And those ones might be just a tad bit louder than this one. So we have one that might be a little easier to cock as well as a little quieter. The color scheme and design on this one is fresh and eye-catching as well as functional with the rubber inserts. It's very grippy and it has the slightly raised cheek piece to make a more comfortable fit and view through your optic, as well as the super soft squishy rubber butt pad to help absorb some of that recoil. Then there's the low profile Swarm 10X mag system that allows you to just break the barrel, take a shot, break the barrel, take the shot, break the barrel, take a shot. So the low profile Swarm mag system actually allows for a lower scope mount, which we all know is better, and kept at its intended distance as well as with the right ammunition, it's extremely accurate and consistent. Another pro is that this gun is only 270 bucks. So for 270 bucks, you got yourself a small game hunter backyard plinker. And remember, it is also available in 177. So for those of you 177 lovers, they got one for you too. Guys, this is like a remake of the Gamo Swarm Maxim, which was one of my favorites when I first started shooting these Gamo air guns. And I'm impressed. They did a very good job. This definitely has its place in the airgun market. If you guys want to find out more about Gamo products, this one in particular, or any of the other ones that they carry, make sure you stop by GamoUSA.com. Thank you, Gamo, for sending this home with me so it can be a part of the GRiP program on the GTA as well as part of my backyard Gamo collection. I would like to take a moment to say thank you to Gateway to Airguns. Thank y'all so much for making these videos possible. If you guys have not checked them out, you really, really should. If you're an air gunner, you like air guns, you like shooting, go check out www.gatewaytoairguns.org. There is something for every air gunner alive. I promise. That's it for today, guys. I'm Airgun Angie with Gateway to Airguns. Thank y'all so much for watching. Y'all don't just have a good day. Have an awesome one. See ya. Do 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 do.